suppose I should be able to pull this.
Good to go.
Oops. Just popping you out so I can see you a little bit better. All right, thank you. Welcome everyone to session 5 of our Taking Root campaign, where we play a Genesis RPG campaign, a small one for the origin stories of Sarah's character Emery. Where we left off, super ominous music. Let's just dial it back one note here.
No way. No way.
Let's go with Abyssal Gaze. That's got to be better.
No way. This is about right.
Where we left off, Emery and Artie were left stranded in Holdenford, penniless, and they were looking to for a way to make a quick buck so they can move on with their journey down towards Lemoore and hopefully to the Bracken Bastion, where Emery is looking for a more sustainable way of keeping her brother Ollie close by, who, for those of you who have not seen the previous episodes, he is dead. So there's that.
You use that. It's a loose term. It's fine. He's fine.
Believe whatever you want. Anyways, in order to be able to get this money, she met up with some of the local powers in Holdenford, particularly the Iron Cathedral, and the seat of power there being the seat of power for Vigor Mortis. So she signed up to be a contractor known as an Iron Bone in these parts, and was assigned to go out and find the Hounds of Reclamation, a group that had been scouring the area, trying to return to Caesar what is Caesar's, or in this case, Philip's. And what I mean by that is that their whole mission is to basically take anyone who's undead or kind of using borrowed time in that sense. And they think that it's against the Circle of Life, which is kind of owned by this god named Black Phillip, and they're trying to dispatch them. And so Holdenford and the Vigor Mortis group have pretty much are comprised of a lot of undead, and they don't like that. They think of themselves as a civilized group known as the Restless, and at least they represent the Restless, which is a larger group of civilized undead, and they think that these guys got to get put in their place. So they contracted Emery and Artie to go out and find them, and they've been rooting down their trail, and it's led them to a creek leading out of town.
Up the creek. Got it.
Yeah, you're going up the creek, so to speak. Yep. So it's led them to a creek just outside of town, and they're looking for the Hounds of Reclamation. Now they have two options here. The town said, "Hey, you guys, give us the location. Make sure that give us all the information on where they are, what they're up to, all that jazz, and we'll give you 2 gold each. Or if you dispatch them, get rid of them, make it so they're no longer a problem for us, we'll give you 5 extra gold each." Now, Emery had recently met up with a ship captain named Osiah, and he told her that he needed a gold each from her and Artie in order to give them passage to Lemoore. And
Tywin told me he can give me some information on Ephemeria, right? It's Ephemeria?
Yep.
Who was kind of the whole reason why my brother is dead in the first place. Well, that and Artie, but we don't need to get into that right now.
Semantics. So, yeah, you got ways of spending your money. Also, you gotta eat. So there's that.
Yeah, it's running low.
With all of that information at your fingertips, the sun has set, the sun has set, and you find yourself sitting in a creek, sopping wet, with your buggy companion. What do you do next?
I'm going to apologize first, out of character, that I'm still finishing my dinner. So, we'll have to bear with me as I mow down some burger and fries here.
Yeah, guys, we gotta live a little.
Yeah. You have to exist. Alright. So, we're taking a look at... I'm trying to remember... Did I already look around and see that there was no one around me, I think? I did.
Yeah, you did a
nobody...
quick perimeter check and saw that you're not like being immediately accosted.
Okay. I'd like to look and see if there's a trail of where people would have came out here and then gone into the woods.
Give me an investigation check or a perception check and let me know which one you're choosing. You could use survival for tracking.
I would use survival if,
okay.
Yeah, because I'm kind of looking for signs of, grass and stuff beaten down, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So let's say survival.
You do not have dark vision, correct? Because it is getting to the point where it is dim light at this point.
Nope. I got no dark vision.
Okay.
Person with regular eyes. I got 1 success, 3 advantage.
It's getting a bit dark for you to be able to make out much detail. You spend a good 5-10 minutes looking around, and you don't see anything immediately.
Okay, can I hear anything?
You hear the babbling of the brook. You still hear the sounds of town.
Okay.
There's a light wind.
So despite that being a really hard swim for me, you're saying I didn't go that far in the water.
Correct.
I can still hear town.
Yeah, most of that time was getting out of town for the swim, and also bumping around and not really making very good progress.
Yep.
Your character had a hard time with the swim. Does not mean it was a hard swim.
Yeah. No, like my antlers are like bumping into stuff, and or I should say horns.
Got caught up on like Artie's wings.
Yeah, really awkward. Anyway, okay. Let's see. What could I see like in my immediate vicinity?
I guess what do you mean by that? Like, are you asking for the topography or?
Yeah, just a general description of like my immediate surroundings that I can see.
Yeah, so this side of town is as close as any side of town is to the Gnarlwood and the outskirts of the Gnarlwood. That being said, it still is in a thinned out kind of closer to a field or a grove. So there are some trees that have started to be cultivated. You can see that some of them are apple trees, etc. So it's a little bit more of a tamed area. It's not like you're in the forest or anything by that.
Okay.
So sparsely wooded, and what woods there are there for agricultural purposes. But mostly it's like if you were to go outside to anywhere in Minnesota right now in the down in the fields and whatnot, it's like little crops of trees here and there, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So immediately around you, tall reeds around the babbling brook. It's probably about at this point it's probably about 3 feet deep where you're at.
Okay. And I don't see any like buildings or anything, right?
Immediately behind you, about 10 feet or so, 10 yards, is the fence for the outskirts of Holden Ford. And you see that it is covered in growth here, like vines, etc.
Okay. I'm not sure exactly where to go from here. I assume the forest, right?
If it was as simple as just walking to the forest, then we could have started there. I feel like there must be a lead here somewhere.
Okay. Oh, look. Is like. Can I see where like the river leads, or like kind of watch? Like I'm kind of looking in the water to see if there's anything unusual.
Anything unusual? What do you mean specifically by that? Can you give me a little bit more details on what specifically you're looking for?
So either like anything like unusually like man-made or or disturbance from people within the river, you know.
Sure. Give me give me a perception check.
Because we know like this thing, like this path came into here. Is there like more of that type of stuff?
Right.
You said a perception.
Yeah.
2 success, 1 advantage.
So what did you get?
2 success, 1 advantage.
Okay. So looking into this area, you do see that there is a piece of it appears to be like a piece of a bag or something like that. That is, it looks like it's got plant material caught on it. And when you pull it out, you notice a budding flower, very similar to one from the garden. And you are probably. It takes you a bit of time when you're looking around for any sign of people or anything like that. You find this caught on a rock about 20 yards upstream from where you came out. So it's further upstream.
Further upstream, like I'm assuming further away from the gate, obviously.
Correct. Further away from the entrance to the city.
Okay. Keep going that way, kind of continuing to, look around.
Sure. What are you looking for when you say looking around?
Whatever way, that the hounds would have gone,
Okay.
Like trail, path.
Yep. So give me another investigation check. Still in the dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to see me.
Yeah.
Rooting around with the light. 2 success, 4 advantage.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Let's see here. With your 4 advantage, let's see here. I'm gonna say that with your 4 advantage, the cloud starts to part a bit, and moonlight starts to cascade down and reflect off of the water a little bit.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier to see, but at this point, you've been looking around and you've kind of walked up and down the riverbed here, the stream bed, for the first 50 yards of the riverbed, and you basically can tell that there is no path leading out that you can find.
Okay. And I will continue to go down, like following the river path.
Okay. How far will you go?
Does it lead toward, like, where is this river leading?
It's weaving back north.
I don't know what's north.
Well, I'm supposed to have you on that old map. I don't have you on the map right now.
That helps. Wait, this is Holden Ford, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's winding back north.
All right. I'll keep trying to follow it for a bit.
Sure.
Another 10 minutes or so.
Okay, so you spend 10 more minutes
again.
walking up the stream. Keep in mind, you can spend story points to introduce a fact as well.
Okay.
Give me another perception check. Now it's probably been, by the way, about 2 hours.
Okay.
Okay. Give me another survival. You can do survival still.
Survival. Okay.
Because you're looking for tracks, that sort of thing.
1 and 4.
No signs.
Art, do you see anything?
You know what? Let's take a look here. That's a good point.
I know he's tired, but hoping he can help me somehow.
What you got, art check? Oh yeah, he's got a pretty good survival. Survival is off of cunning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you roll me 2 yellows and 1 green, please?
Rolls the same as me, but watch him roll better. That is better in a way.
Better in a way?
0 success, but 6 advantage.
Oh my gosh. Okay. From here, based off of all of you guys' advantage, you've been heading up the riverbed a little bit. You see a house close by. It looks like it's probably a farmstead that tends an orchard that is fed from this brook. But it is like almost due west. It's a little bit closer towards the woods than where you are right now, but it's more west than it is north.
We'll look and see if there's a path heading that direction. Specifically.
Sure. So, as you've walked up and down, you haven't seen the path yet, but you're going to head towards the house, or are you going to look up and down the riverbed for a path going towards that direction?
We'll get out of the riverbed and walk kind of near it.
Okay. Yeah, heading up and down the riverbed, outside of the riverbed, the brook here. Eventually, you do stumble across it's about as the crow flies, the shortest path towards this place, and there appears to be some sort of dirt goat trail, so to speak. It seems to be wide enough for a small cart, so there's 2 ruts, and some of the grass has been pushed down a little bit and it has come back up in the middle, so to speak. So it's by no means a well carved path.
Okay. We're gonna cautiously approach, try to be stealthy, not be seen.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. And you get a boost from the darkness.
Okay. 3 success, 2 advantage.
3 success, 2 advantage? Cheesy Pete's. Okay.
Finally did something successfully? I don't know.
Yeah, so, you approach the house. How close do you want to get?
I want to be able to see if folks are home, type of a thing.
Okay. Yeah, you can see, because you noticed, the first thing that you noticed was that the lights, that someone had some sort of candlelight from inside the building, probably a fire, because there's smoke coming from the chimney as well. Mm-hmm. No lights coming from the barn, and they do have a small silo there as well.
Okay. I'm gonna try to sideline to check out the barn really quick.
Okay.
Take a quick look inside.
As you get closer, with your check, you make it all the way to the barn, and looking in, it's pretty dark in there. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 2 and 1.
2 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Looking in there, you can see the first stall that you look into. There's a horse, and he kind of you can hear him like, just sticks his nose out.
Mm-hmm.
Moving over to the only other window that's on that side. And what I mean by window is that it's really just more of an opening with shutters.
Uh-huh.
And the shutters aren't latched at this point. And looking into the second window, you see that there's tack and there's even apparently space for a cart inside as well.
Okay. Gonna try to skirt around closer to the house to see and try to peek in a window.
Okay.
This is where I fail epically.
So you're gonna try to look into the house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you are moseying about the barn, before you cross towards the house, you see a woman open up the door and is carrying a basket from the silo to the house. She's looks like she's made of wood, so to speak. Really sunburnt to the suntanned to the point of leather. Lean build, hair up in kind of like Princess Leia buns, or maybe even bigger buns than discs, whatever the hell you want to call that.
Mm-hmm.
And has simple garb, and is, like I said, carrying a basket. She appears to be of gnomish descent.
Okay. Where, like...
She heads across from the silo toward the house and enters in through the front door, which is facing the barn.
Okay. She already headed in, or she's gonna pass by? I just don't...
Yeah, when you stepped outside from the barn, you saw that, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if she's like gonna be able to see me or not. Okay.
No, you can wait for her to cross, and then you can
Yeah.
go after that. Yeah. So now give me another stealth check.
Okay.
And get two boost dice. Actually, one boost die from the light.
From the day. From the moon? From it being dark?
Yeah, so it's dim light at this point. So just one.
Okay, 2 success.
Okay. Yeah, so you shuffle on over and you can see inside the facility in there. You see there's a man who appears to be pulling off his cowboy boots and shaking them out. And you hear a lady in there go, "Thor, we told you to do that outside." And another woman, the gnome, goes, "It's a dirt floor anyways. What are you complaining about? It's the principle of the matter." And they continue to just banter about the day, and they appear to be cooking dinner.
Okay. Okay, I'll whisper to Artie. These don't seem like the Hound type, but I don't know if we should ask them about anything or not, or...
They might have information as living out here. I'm sure they keep eyes on the comings and goings. They might have even been paid off.
Okay. I just want to double check. No, it's fine. It's fine. This is like a single story building, right? Or is it?
Yes, it is single story.
Okay, yeah, that's fine then. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go to the front door. I'm gonna do a little knock.
Okay. Okay, so as you knock, you hear, Did you invite that town boy over?" "No, I didn't like him too much last time we were out drinking, alright?" "Okay, but we shouldn't be having guests." "Sure, go check in on it." He goes, "Oh, 1 second." And kind of shambles over and looks out the window. And Archek has rounded behind the house, so to speak,
Okay.
to keep from being seen.
Okay. Totally fine.
So he looks out. It's an elk of some sort.
Hi.
An elk knocking on the door? Well, it's a woman elk. That's a door. You're not making any sense, door. I don't think she's gonna be up. Let me just answer the door. You kind of hear all that. And you hear shuffling over, and the door jams, sounds like it slides open.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of opens up the door.
Good evening. I'm sorry to be a bother.
How are you now?
Oh, good, and you?
It's a long day's work. It's finally done. About to lay my head for a moment's respite.
You know, I totally understand. I feel in the same way, but I've got a bit of a job to do, and I'm hoping you might be able to answer a question or two for me.
Okay.
So, have you seen any odd things with anyone?
You mean
headed
like
off
a
around-
lass with antlers?
Maybe stranger than that. I don't know. Have folks been passing through this way from the city?
What's she asking about? She's asking about you, the men. Kind of looks over the window.
The men. Is that what?
Yeah, he kind of looks over. You're looking around, huh? For weird goings on. You do realize what town this is, yes?
Yes, I'm aware. It is a strange town. Most towns have been strange, at least as far as I've seen so far. To be fair.
Give me a charm check.
Yeah. He's like, better let me charming. I'm so charming. I am polite and unassuming. Is that helpful in this case?
Yes. Get a booster.
Okay. So, I have 4 success, 1 advantage.
On
Is
2
that a-
dice, I rolled 3 failure.
I got 4 success!
Yes, you did.
4!
It's amazing. I was like, holy crap, I rolled like as bad for you as I possibly could. Hey.
Take that.
Kind of goes. You hear behind. Well, just go. Let her in, darling. I'm not gonna let her in. You know how this things around here work. She ain't coming in. He kind of looks over.
Oh, I don't need to come in. I don't mean to be a bother at all. No.
Oh, sure. So, there have been a few things around lately that's unusual for our nature of things. It's unusual to be... Yeah. He kind of goes, there's been folks traipsing up and down the creek.
That's what I was wondering about. Do you just happen to see which way they're going? I know they're coming
Up
from the
and
city.
down the creek.
Up and down the creek?
Up and down the creek. It's...
Isn't that the wildest thing?
You think that they would use a walking path or something, but they just trudge on like they got boots to spare.
Sometimes the water feels good under the feet. I can understand that.
But in full leathers.
Full leathers, huh?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to soak right in after a time. It's not good for the leathers.
That's
Like you would know. You don't have a piece of leather amongst your... I know about taking care of saddles, Missy. And if you were better with a needle, then perhaps I would be able to have leathers.
I think it's better off not using leathers personally.
Oh, is that... He kind of looks at your feet. What do you have for feet?
Oh, I just have regular.
Normal feet?
Yeah, I don't have hooves or anything.
What do you got for shoes?
Honestly, let me think for a second.
I'm picturing leather boots.
Hell, I was gonna say barefoot. Just, oh, that's a good question. I feel like just like cloth shoes, probably.
Okay. Kind of looks down and goes, oh, well, teach their own. But, I mean, we were going to be sitting down for supper. We could bring some out for you, but, you know, like, it's a dangerous place. Even for folks who seemingly are quite charming, I would hate to. Well, maybe we can let her stay in the barn. It's getting real late, Fjord. Well,
I don't mean
if
to
we
be...
let her in, then we're gonna have to feed her, and then we're responsible for her.
I don't mean to impose. I can be right on my way. I was just looking into some stuff, and you guys have been really helpful. Do you know, like, how often you've been seeing folks do this?
Well, at least multiple. He kind of looks over, and one of the ladies that you haven't met before comes over. Appears to be another gnome, with very similar skin tones as the first one. He goes, she kind of excitedly, multiple times at Twillet, as a matter of fact. First was kind of odd, and then after that, a bit concerning, but since they never really bothered us, we never really, you know...
Did they look like they were gearing up for a fight or anything like that? You said they were wearing leathers?
Oh, they didn't look like they were, they didn't look like they were farmers, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
And sometimes they were carrying materials with them. I don't know what to make of it, but what about you, Helen? Yeah, they were carrying jars. They were carrying sometimes things roped up on a I don't know what it is when you have a stick from one shoulder to the other shoulder of like two people. If it's yoked up on a stick or what the hog-tied, whatever the phrase is. Sometimes they would have something roped up carrying amongst them, but very, very odd. Normally folks who think of using a brook for passage think of using a small canoe or something. But
yeah, that
brook is very, very shallow. I wouldn't expect someone to be doing that either. It's really not meant for that.
Very strange.
I love your antlers, by the way. Is
Thank
it
you.
okay if I...
They're actually horns.
Sorry, I keep picturing antlers for some reason.
That's okay. She has like the twirly back horns.
Gotcha. She goes, you have lovely head points.
Yes, they're horns. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Been growing these for a while.
Yeah, is that a bow?
Yes, and some flowers, and this is a ribbon here.
Well, you're the most lovely looking demon I've ever seen.
Thanks.
Well, of course. we consider ourselves non-traditional around here. We would never judge someone by their orientation when it comes to what plane of existence they were born in.
I mean, I was born in the woods, but some people do think it's sort of a different plane of existence than the city folk, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, the woods. I hear there's a lot of you out there. Well, could you please not kill us when we go to the woods next? If you could just put in a good word for us, that would be really nice. The guy kind of speaks up. Trinda, now, none of that. We're not going to get involved with politics. You get involved with politics, and then they got their sights on you, and you never know what's coming next, all right?
Involved in politics? I'm sorry, I'm not from around here.
We are simple folk here. We tend this orchard. We're very kind to the orchard, and the orchard's kind to us. We won't be going any further into the gnarl wood we plan to keep it that way. But we can't keep folks from traipsing up and down the streams, so if you got quarry with them, next time they're up into your woods, feel free to eat their souls or whatever it is that you do.
Okay. I don't do that, but I understand. Mostly berries, nuts, that sort of thing. But it's fine. I don't mind questions. I don't mind questions. It's very nice. But I think I have to get on my way at this point.
Nuts and berries. They should really. Someone should look into whether or not the restless can eat nuts and berries. I don't think they like to eat anything. And they just kind of break off into their conversation again. The door's just half ajar.
Okay, I'm going to start walking off, but I'm going to kind of think in my head with the things they were saying, like, what could I think of that would be in the woods that would be like,
Yeah.
Or if they're just like, your classic farmer telling crazy tales, like.
So what you do know is that you guys have given fair license to the things that go bump in the night, safe haven in the Gnarlwood. But they still do have predacious natures. So folks who go wandering into the Gnarlwood have a propensity to become food, because the things that live in there tend to be carnivorous, especially of the nature that enjoys eating things of higher order. So being a woodsman in this area is a dangerous job, so to speak. Yeah. Now, are you asking if there's a specific creature that looks like you that lives in the woods?
No. Just more so, like, if they were, like, just talking about, like, being so scared about the woods and, like, this eating soul,
Yeah.
I wonder if, like...
They know full well that the woods are very dangerous, and they know full well what the trade is in Holden Ford, which is many things, from slaves to souls to haunts to...
Right.
You name it. So...
Fair.
There's that.
Fair enough. All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna walk back towards the river, but kind of give a head nod to Artcheck as, to come join me as when they are done.
Okay.
Like when they can't see him anymore.
So as you give him a head nod, you see that he's got like his cloak up and he's kind of like hunched over extra ghoulishly, like extra creepy behind a woodpile, and he kind of like looks up into the sky and scurries along the ground towards you, and it's pretty terrifying. You do see
a little unnerving.
Yeah, definitely. You do see. It's hard to tell what it was, but you see something flit across the pale moonlight as some winged creature flits by, so to speak.
What was that?
A hunter, most like.
Odd. I kind of try to look if I
quite.
can see it again as just kind of casually, because I mean, why not? I birdwatch, okay?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Was that a warbler?
Yeah, a red-crested warbler.
Red-crested warbler. Alright. You said a survival check?
No, a perception
check. Okay, sorry. 1 success. Flat.
Okay. Looking around, you're kind of caught a little off guard with looking at the stellarium. You haven't spent a lot of your life exposed to this much just like open sky. Mm-hmm. And so you're a little bit distracted there for a moment, and whatever it was is gone back into the clouds.
Odd. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep trying to head in along the river.
Okay.
Trying to be kind of cautious and quiet and...
Yeah. So you haven't gone very far yet. How far are you looking to go up the stream if you're just looking for signs of folks getting off? How far are you willing to go?
Like, to the forest. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go to sleep for tonight. feel into pressure to do this, and it's way better to do it at night.
Okay.
Where people can't see me. So,
Give me,
look, I can't afford another hotel room
right?
with how little cash I have. This job's got to get done tonight.
Give me either a survival check or a knowledge people check.
I want knowledge people. So do I like yellow dice or do I trust green dice?
And let me know which one you want.
I'll do knowledge people just to switch it up because that's been a lot of survival checks so far.
Okay.
I made the right choice. 4 success, 1 advantage.
Okay. Yeah. So you spend a good hour going up the stream, knowing full well, it's not much of a hike for you. It wouldn't be much of a hike for these people, and it's enough to throw off the scent of other folks. You get past the point where line of sight would easily be able to detect people like moving into the tree line. You actually end up in the forest, and as you start to move into the forest a bit, about 15 minutes in, you see light up ahead, off once again to the northeast, more east than north.
Okay.
And it's something that, yeah. And as you move around, it disappears for a bit,
Okay.
and then comes back up. So it must be far enough away that thicket is easily blocking it. But you've moved up and down enough to be able to see it more than once. It wasn't a figment of your imagination.
Okay.
And so it's a warm yellow light.
Careful, Art. I think we're getting close.
Good. I'm starting to get a bit sick of being wet. But this could be dangerous. Are you sure we want to approach them?
We want to make sure that this is the right place. I don't want to start a fight. I don't want to do anything. We find this.
We don't want to
get out.
sick the vigor mortis on the fjords of the world. He's referencing the villagers that you just met.
Oh, I couldn't understand what their names were. Yeah, gotcha. Yes, we need to make sure this is the right thing. And we're going to get paid to find these people. I need to make sure we did find them. Gotta be honest pay, honest work.
They're gonna want information on how many, and we don't know for sure if they're the hounds like you were saying, or what they're doing out here.
Yeah. We'll gather what we can, but I don't want to fight. If it does come to that, I mean, it is what it is, but let's just take it slow and cautious. And then start moving on.
Okay.
Moving on up.
So
Sneaky style.
you are. Give me an investigation check.
All right. Investigation is cunning.
Add 2 boost, because you did pass your previous check and you can see where the path would be going.
3 success, 5 advantage.
It's not hard to find their path. It seems like they've kind of given up stealth at the edge of the riverbed or the creek bed, simply because if anyone finds this, they're going to be able to find wherever they're going to at this point. So you see wet, muddy boot prints in the soil.
Moody boot prints. Boot prints. They're so grumpy by the time they've got here. Sorry.
You see heavy boot prints as well in the thick mud that's been turned up. The side of the creek bed's just a mess, and you can see that the plants have been beaten down, and it starts to taper off into more of a goat path after you get a little bit away from the creek bed. But even from the amount of water that's come off of the people walking through that area, you can tell that they probably are like emptying their boots and stuff like that before they continue on here. They also must be carrying stuff back and forth because there's not only is there a goat trail, but it looks like the branches and stuff like that have been cut away for this particular path. As you get closer, you see that there is more than just one light. In fact, there's a bit of a haze off in the distance, and you can see that a big hill rises kind of ahead of you. Before the hill, though, because the hill is probably about the peak of it. So the start of it is probably about 100 yards away, and then the hill rises probably a good 50 yards from the base of where the hill is. So it rises up pretty aggressively, and it's a decent size. But from here, because of the haze backdrop and the moonlight, you can see the makeout of a silhouette of a building between here and there. In the front of it, in fact, actually, because of what you can see, it also looks like there might be some lighting behind the building, almost as if there's a light source immediately behind the building. So you see a building, it's got a little bit of, like, it's easy to see the silhouette of it, and then you see behind it a hill, and then on the top of the hill you see more light.
Okay. How, like, heavily, like, wooded is this area? That...
Thick. It's very thick.
So, okay.
In both trees and undergrowth.
Okay.
So it would be kind of hard to move around through the woods without making noise, but it's definitely doable.
Okay.
It also helps obscure sight very well.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for answering everything in my head.
Try.
Okay. Do I see any figures moving around?
Give me a perception check.
Hey, 3 success.
You wait on bated breath to see if anyone is moving around the structure. And as you do, you can hear chanting coming from the slightly distant hilltop.
Okay.
Multiple voices. And between that and the darkness in front of you, it's hard to make out noises immediately close, and you do not detect anything.
Okay. How high is the hill versus, like, the trees near me?
The hill is also got trees on it as it goes up. So,
like, there's no. Yeah. So the reason I'm asking,
if you were to climb a tree,
if I could climb a tree and see over the hill.
If you were to climb a tree, you'd still have to do with the obscuring branches of all the other trees between you and that area because of how thick the evergreen forest is here. So it might be hard to be able. It would be harder to see simply because of the tree growth. Not necessarily because of the height. The trees would be high enough for you to be able to see the hilltop. The hill's probably 40 feet high, something like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
40 feet high.
I'm gonna try to sneak up next to this first building.
Sorry, 40 yards high. But anyways, yeah. So go ahead and give me a stealth check.
You keep doing that. You keep saying feet and then yards. It's like, dude, big difference.
I know. I'm just trying to like spitball. I really should go out and like measure stuff.
Yeah, no. Like, to be honest, I didn't need any numbers. Good.
Third-story building high. That's how high the hill is.
That works. Yeah.
Okay. Give me a stealth check as you approach the building.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get up, like, right up next to the wall of the building.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to be able to, like, saddle up next to the building as kind of cover from, since the light's on the opposite side, and if there happens to be, like, something to see in the building, then I would check out a window if there was one. But first things first, stealth check, right? Yep. Here it goes. No success. One advantage.
As you get closer and closer to the building, your foot gets caught in some of the muck, and unfortunately, it makes like a bunch of like leaves and stuff like that stick to your foot. So you end up slipping a couple of times just from the slick, leafy stuff on your feet. Noob. But you end up cleaning it off, and you keep moving forward, and you get up closer to the building. There's one window, and then there is what looks to be like a small jutting outward portion of the building with a door on it. Oh, it's probably like a back door or something like that to the lodge.
Is the window on my side, like the side I'm currently on?
You were approaching towards like the back door. I imagine that the building was kind of like at a diagonal where you were, and as you approached, you could approach toward the door, you could approach toward the window, but both of them are on what I would consider to be the back of the building, and you were approaching the back of the building.
Okay.
The window is on the left side, the door is central, and the right side of the back of the building has no entrances, no windows, nothing like that. And the window is shuttered.
Man, I deeply regret not planning and making a trap ahead of time. That's all I have to say.
Well, now is ahead of sometime.
Yeah. Great. Okay. I want to try to can I hear anybody on? No, I already did a hearing check. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to take advantage of doing the same checks over and over. I want to try to peek into this building.
So you are closer to the building now. I would allow you to, because you were giving me like general noise checks.
Okay.
I would allow you to check to see if you hear anything like moving inside the building or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
If you would like.
Yeah, that's what I would like.
Okay.
Perception?
Yep.
Okay. 2 and 1.
You don't hear anything.
I do. Can I make like a quick, trap that someone would step on and it would catch them? Like depending on what stuff I have, like a snare or like a bear trap or
Yeah, I mean you could even make something with just a simple rope that if they step in it and then like they move to pull their foot forward, it closes like a noose would. It would automatically cinch it.
Yeah.
If you do that, you would need to tether it to something. Like a tree or to the building.
Yeah. Like on the path out, there's that single trail out. I want to put something on that path where Artie and I know where it is. So if we ran away down that path, to escape, we would be able to avoid it, but someone else might get stuck on it.
Okay. Yep.
It would let us escape.
Yep. Are you intending on magicking it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that would...
Wait, would it take concentration to keep holding it?
No, shouldn't. I don't... What's your spell say?
Okay. Sorry. I could have checked. Easy. Just as it's easy duration 10 minutes.
Yep. So it's just good for 10 minutes.
Okay. Then sure. We'll do that.
So
catch someone.
I would allow it to cover a 5-foot space based off of what we've just described, where it would put, because what essentially is a snare that big would require magic to go sloop and actually cinch down far enough to be able to grab someone. It would need that magic component to it. So give me a survival check to make your trap.
Okay.
And I am going to make it an easy check with one setback because of the dim lighting.
Okay. Triumph, a success, and 2 advantage.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
that'd be 1 extra success.
Gotcha. So 3 success and a triumph, and some advantage.
1 triumph, 2 success, 2 advantage.
Okay. So if you spent the triumph, you could have a total of 3 success.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, you lay it out, and with the triumph, I'll say that you get basically a 10-foot double, like 2 traps worth, right? And did you have trap supplies, or what did you have to make your trap? You could either use supplies, or if you already had something that was like trap components or something.
I had the small creature spells worth of crafting components, like the 6 to 10 of those, and I thought I had a rope. Where did that go? Oh, I have my bolas. So I can use those. Otherwise, I'd have to find stuff.
Okay, so yeah, you haven't looked around for supplies, like specifically.
Sorry, I thought I had a rope in my inventory, but I forgot I made the bolas.
Oh, okay. So I'll allow you to consume the bolas to make the trap, and essentially you make a 2 5-foot radius cinch traps that are staked. So you put 3 stakes on the ground and you cinch it to the stakes to form a triangle for each one, and then that triangle, if someone were to like catch their foot and pull on it, it would basically pull up off of the stakes, at which point it'll trigger the noose to start cinching.
Okay.
And that is tethered to each to a tree, so it'll keep them from moving forward, so to speak. So you spend a little bit of time setting these up. Give me another stealth check while you're doing this. And you still hear chanting from the top of the hill. And at this point, you can see that there's.
Do I get any boosts for it being dark?
Yeah, you can add 2 boost dice to your roll. Or sorry, 1 boost die because it's dim.
Okay. I still hear chanting, and what was that? Sorry.
Chanting, and at this point, you can tell that they've got that it's probably some sort of firelight, because every now and then you can see shadows. And at this point, you would have heard a pig squeal.
Well, I don't know that goats like to eat pigs. See, so this whole vibe of
I've seen pigs eat lots of things. I've seen goats eat lots of things. You'd be surprised what one would eat when driven to it.
I think Black Phillip just kind of likes it from the sound of it. Just kind of, he'll eat anything and he likes it.
He does not favor one race over another.
Just that. Got 2 success, 1 advantage.
Alright, you set up your traps. No one's shouting at you.
Alright. Now I'm going to sneak back over to the building and try to get a peek.
You have not done your magic check.
Oh, sorry.
So,
yeah.
Okay. And
to do that.
Archek is going to assist you. So he's talking about how the magic works and center your mind and think of what you want from the traps, push your will into it, and leave that part behind. Leave that part of you behind on these to convert these traps into a finger of yours, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So you may add a boost die to your roll. It's easy check, right?
Yeah. Okay, 3 success, 2 advantage.
You may use the 2 advantage to negate the strain cost of the spell cast.
I will.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so you got that done.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you're gonna need to do it a second time for the other trap. You got the triumph to double the use of your supplies to set up 2 traps to cover a bigger distance, but you still need to magic both of them
To get them to work. Period.
No,
Okay.
the other one could still work, but it won't be nearly as effective.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do it.
And by the way, I rolled 0. I rolled nothing, so I think your successes actually have a monetary, like an actual. It's not just pass or fail. It gives you like +3 difficulty based off of your 3 success for those. So.
I got 3 and 2, so it'll be the same where I get to.
Okay, I rolled
my strain.
2 failure that time.
So I only got 1 that time. So I got 3 the first time. Okay, increase difficulty of those actions by my successes and detection by advantage.
Okay, so yeah, the trap seems to like you made it taunt and like up high enough where someone would step into it and then catch it with their foot. The rope seems to go slack and like fall down a bit, so it's a lower profile.
Okay.
Already looks at it and kind of like he doesn't put his finger in it and goes, "Very good. These will so don't step here, right?"
Right.
Okay. Kind of looks over. Some of the bushes around by. That shouldn't be an issue. We've got this. We've got this. He's kind of groaning to himself as like an anxious tick.
Yeah. It will be fine, Art. But we need to move now. I'm sorry it took a bit of time, but it'll be so much easier to leave if they catch us now. Right.
Very well.
And then I do what I said I was gonna do.
Okay, you're gonna go up the hill. Sorry, I missed.
No, up to the building. I'm trying to look
yeah.
at the first building.
Okay, so you approach the building.
Peek inside.
Shutters latched.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go to the door.
Okay.
And lightly try the handle.
Okay. As you go to open the door, it appears to creak. You open it all the way?
I back when it creaks.
Okay.
I kind of like back around the edge.
Okay.
And wait for like 20 seconds. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Then I open it.
Okay. No light from the inside, but from here you can see that there is dim light. So there's a firelight coming in from a torch through the shuttered front window, which is just enough for you to be able to make out the silhouette of a table and a couple other generalized furniture in the vicinity of the building here.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna throw you into my map as well. Might as well.
That would be lovely. I love to see a map. I do wanna. I have a little like flint and steel, and I'm just trying to get just like a little bit of light up in here. Like I don't want to go crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I want to try to make like a small little light to see by.
Okay. So what I will actually do, let's see if I can go to the other layer here quick. GM there. Okay. So I'll say that's cracked a bit. I'll say this is cracked a bit.
Cool.
Objects and tokens. Yeah, you can just start to make sight in there just a bit. Let's see here. Wow. Oh, that's why. Okay, because there's a fireplace in there, so that's actually another source of lighting. That's why that's that way.
I don't see a.
Okay. 1 second. Let me just delete that. Interesting. Sorry about that. so you can see inside. There's a couple tables. One obviously for eating. There's a prep table. There's some jars, some sacks laying around. But it's still pretty dim lighting in this space. The only lighting that's coming in from here is from a torch on the other side of the front door, mounted in a sconce of some sort.
Okay. I'm gonna step inside, assuming I see like no bodies in here, people in here, and I'm gonna try to just light like a very small light.
Okay. So as you light up another light here, let's go ahead and throw that in here. This is the room that you see. So pretty plain. There are some stairs that lead up to like what appears to be like a loft. So just a space that, in fact, you can see the loft from here. It's basically just got some beds on it from what you can see immediately.
Okay. Do I see anything on like any paperwork or anything on the tables? Anything like symbols or books or
Yeah.
Like,
you do see that there are some scribblings on a small, I don't know if it's what's the small kitchen tables where it's like sits one person for coffee sort of tables.
Yeah.
Immediately to your right. And on that table you see that there's a couple of bound books or tomes or something along those lines.
Okay, I want to look at those just like...
Okay. One of them appears to be some sort of... You start flipping through it, and it appears to be some sort of manifesto / journal. Someone's been taking notes on either their life or the dealings that they've had. Another one appears to be a little bit more of a... almost like a Bible toward Black Phillip. It deals with some proverbs in there. It's got a couple of like theories on the relationship with the cosmos, and it's got some articles on Black Phillip's relationship with the Stellarium and the Pantheon. It's got general stuff like that, and ways of applying it to life as well.
Okay, so but the really important question about that is it like is it like the full Bible, or is it like the bathroom Bible? Like the little.
So it is. It appears to be small enough for like a satchel. So it's probably the size of like. What's this here?
Yeah, so it's like...
It's not an 8x11. It's closer to about this big.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna like just pocket those like in my backpack.
I'm gonna steal some nerds homework. Got it.
Yeah. And kind of look and see if there's anything else on like the other tables that is... Something loot. It's not. I am not trying to loot. I'm trying to make sure this is like the that this is the hounds, right? So
yeah.
The everything's leading that direction that I found so far, but
yeah. In one corner, you find laying up, kind of like up against the wall, you find a strange shepherd's hook. The shepherd's hook is, let me see here, I got some information. It appears to be made of some sort of, like, ram's horn at the tip. Black ram's horn. But it appears to be, like, burnt to that color. And off of it, you see that where normally the bone would look fragile and cracked, this looks sturdy, almost metallic in that nature, and it is mounted to an iron rod, probably about 6.5 feet long, totaling 7 feet in height.
Wow.
Depending
I
on-
would assume, like, what... I would assume that's, like gotta be the Black Phillip people's thing, for sure, but is it something that I would recognize as a certain, like, symbol of a certain type of, like, a group or something, you know? Like,
give
or
me a
is it
knowledge. Give me a knowledge people check.
like, you get what I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, no, that's the thing that they all shepherds of the Black Phillip have that, you know, whatever
Right.
the fuck it is, you know. 1 success, 4 advantage.
It's not like no, they don't all have this thing.
Okay.
It's not like you're like, hey, I walked to the Black Phillip Church and everyone's gotta have one or anything like that.
Well, yeah, they're 2 for 1, and
Yeah, they're on sale at Walmart. No,
okay. Does it? Sorry.
Looking at it, you can see that there's some sort of writing on it that you can't quite get your eyes on. Like, it seems to move as you look at it, and it's a dull amber in color. It seems to always be there, like at the corner of your eye. Never quite suffusing to anything.
Is this some sort of magic? Like, and I'm kind of trying to get a gauge of it, but I do kind of whisper that.
Yes. This has an element to it that I feel almost a kinship to it. It's not far from where we pull our source. But it is at the same time.
And this thing, you said it was like 7 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, it has that's probably...
It's the size of a shepherd's hook. So if you're holding onto it, if it's on the ground, it's a little bit above you, so to speak, at its full length.
You think it's something different than what... I'm so bad. Now I'm like, do I loot it?
Do you loot it? I mean, I suppose you are a staff wielder. I didn't even consider it as loot, to be honest.
I was like, is this supposed to be loot for me? You know, like, because I was like, at first I'm like, wow, I shouldn't touch that, and you're like, it's similar to your magic, and I'm like...
Well, let's see what you know of Black Phillip, right? So he's a destroyer of things left on the boundary between worlds, right?
Yeah.
In your magic, or at least
what I'm trying to do.
Keep in mind, our check said it's similar to his magic.
Right.
Which is not the same as your magic, necessarily.
Yeah. His magic has a lot more death and trading involved. Okay.
Tools can be tools, though.
Can I try to sense, like, what it do?
Give me a witchcraft check. Actually, give me a script check.
Am I allowed to do that if I don't have any points in it?
Yeah, it's just a general intelligence check.
Yep, I just wanted to make sure because sometimes magic's fun. Got that stuff.
Yep.
Got 1 success and 4 advantage.
You don't know.
I don't want to tamper with things I don't understand. And I kind of leave it And then I'm gonna try to peek out. Like, I'm not gonna open the shutters. Like, try to through the closed shutters towards the fire. Like,
towards the torch.
this way. Yeah.
Sorry, which way can you paint?
This.
Yeah.
Trying to peek through the opposite window.
You see a bit of a clearing in front of the building, but that's about it. It's hard to make up a lot of detail. What you do notice is that from this map, from where the map is currently, north is right side of the map, too. So that's uphill.
Okay.
It's the right side.
Okay. You said, like, is it up these stairs as like a loft, and I can kind of see those? Is that?
Yep. It's a loft because it's basically like you'd have to duck your head, but there's enough space for people to shamble around and get into beds up there.
Okay, I'm gonna go over there and go up and just kind of like take a quick look if there's nothing else other than beds up there.
There's some like day bags, backpacks and stuff like that. Seemingly, as you walk up the stairs, you can see underneath the beds. They're like stuffed under the beds.
Okay, I'm gonna look in those really quick, just to see like, is there anything other than like rations, flint and steel? You know, like items of note or
there's some money.
Distinguishing.
There's it appears to be, you know, like I said, traditional travel garb and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of them has, as you rifle through the bag, there's a couple pieces of paperwork, and as you quickly open them, you see that it's like letters from home.
Okay.
So someone's been talking to some sort of lover or wife or something along those lines, or a husband.
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of sift through them real quick. Beyond that, not anything that like would jump out at you. That like there's not like a dagger that's glowing a different color or something like that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to miss
Yeah.
anything, you
Yep,
know,
for
obvious
sure.
from just
Mm-hmm.
not going up the stairs and being like, whoa, there were prisoners up there or something, you know,
Right,
like,
yeah.
oh, you kidding me?
You missed the original owners hanging from the rafters.
Right. Like, okay. Then I'm gonna get on out of this building at this point.
Okay.
But being cautious as I kind of come around this door to peek out, make sure.
Yeah.
But
Let
not
me
seeing anybody around.
real quick grab. Let's see here. Where did I put Arch at?
He's outside. I can see his little claw right there.
Oh, yeah.
His creepy little claw.
Yeah, Den's creepy claws. Why isn't this producing light? That's weird. Okay, I think I gotta let's grab this one. Let me see if I can do this now. I had this all set up in a way that I like. Oh, that's why it's not working. It's because he literally cannot see, so it doesn't work when I use him. Sorry about that. Give you vision. Okay, that's good enough.
Nothing changed for me if it was supposed to.
Nope. You're
Okay.
good. I was doing some stuff for the hilltop,
Gotcha.
so you can't see the hilltop from where you are because you're
No, but you were mumbling under your breath and giving sight to
Yep.
things, and
Yep.
are you good?
Yep. I'm good.
Okay. I'm going up to the door, see, but I just want to make sure there wasn't anybody like approaching before I exit. So I was gonna kind of do a peek. around.
Okay. Yeah, no, you don't see anyone immediately when you're coming out.
Okay, then I'm gonna pop on out of here.
Okay.
Why is he in me?
I'll move him for you. Can you move him?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll fix that. Details controlled by all players.
Thanks.
Okay. So from at the base of the hill, you can't really make out anything at the top, but you can see just general light still in that direction. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna start creeping around towards the hill, which I assume is this way. I literally can only see one square, so
If you zoom way out, you can see much more. So you can see a general lighting up there, but you can't see anything beyond just the shapes of trees, pretty much.
Okay.
And every now and then, shadows of figures being cast across the area, plural voices, and haunting noises mixed in with squeals from a pig.
Okay. I'm sorry to do this. Can you describe like the approach to the hill again? Like
It's
is there
hard to
just
tell from
one
here, but
path,
as you
or-
get closer, you see that it's a very steep hill. That it seems to be almost horseshoe patterned, maybe more croissant shaped, where it's got tapers on the ends. So map north and map south side is easier to come up than just walking straight at it. Walking straight at it, you're gonna have to climb a little bit. The other would be hiking.
Okay. One second. I need to check if I can climb trees. Would that be an athletics thing?
Yes.
I would not be good at climbing trees.
It would be an athletics and a stealth to make sure that you're not like crap and
No.
crashing branches while you're trying to.
Yeah, that's not really my thing. I have other characters where that'd be my thing, but I just know things sometimes. That's different. All right. I am gonna try to sneak around the like downward side of the map thing, around the edge.
Okay.
I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm
no
doing.
problem. So don't worry about the map too much right now, right?
Okay.
So you're sneaking around. That's why I was thinking about just leaving the map away for a while.
It's nice to have stuff like that.
Yeah. So you make your way around towards the base of the hill and start moseying toward the not moseying. You start creeping toward the ritual. Yeah.
Yes.
How soon would you like to? How close would you like to get?
I want to be able to start to see what's going on, but I don't want to creep too, like, I want to find a place as far back as I can where I can see, like, even if it takes me longer. So I'm favoring stealth to, like, a like, good view, but,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yep. So, as you get closer, you're able to first give me a perception check. Because if you fail the perception check, I'll make you get closer until you can actually succeed. At which point, I'm going to make you roll a stealth check based off of how close you are.
Stealth check, you're saying?
Yep. And because of the actually, why did you hit it? No, sorry, perception check.
Sorry, what? Am I supposed
I
to
said perception at first. That's what I meant.
Sorry.
I just immediately said yes when you asked for stealth. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I understand. Just immediately saying yes to a question, but I got 4 success, dude.
Wow! All right, I had 3 failures, so I made the check pretty hard at first. So your heart starts racing as you creep forward. It's taxing being in this crouched position for a long period of time. You haven't been doing squats.
Oh, yeah.
Suffer to strain as you're like.
Oh god, how long am I
Trying to avoid-
squatting?
But I won't upgrade the stealth check. I'll use that for strain.
Emery does not go to the gym.
And you're able to make a sight out a little bit. Give me a stealth check now.
This is
And add 2 boosts, one from the dark and one from the forest itself.
okay. I'm gonna. Can I upgrade my check with the story point?
Sure. Now I have all the story points.
One success, 4 advantage.
Okay.
I mean, I got the 1 success on the upgraded die.
So, looking ahead, I'm going to actually reveal some stuff. Oops. Not all of that. Well, now I'm on the wrong. Oh, I did map layer. Ooh, that's bad.
I'm not looking.
Yeah.
The stream is also now not looking.
Oh man, I don't want to move the map by accident. I did everything to map layer, so all the tokens I can't.
I'm trying real hard not to look, buddy.
You're good. 1 second. I'm such a bad DM. Bad DM.
Naughty, awful DM. Who's giving me a chance to get some candy?
There you go. Okay, we're good.
No. No, you're not. I need candy.
Okay.
Alright, what can I see?
Now that you're back, so what you see is a group of men, all clad as mentioned before. Seems to be in like mercenary garb. Some of them a little bit better equipment than that. And leading them is a tall, scarred, orcish woman with beautiful black wavy hair done up in a top knot. She seems to be speaking mostly in tongues, and she is seated down in a kneeling posture with her arms up and her head lowered, and in front of her is a massive hog on top of what appears to be some sort of stone that has been some stone slab that has been laid out. It's not high like an altar. It's more of like just a big rock sitting there, so to speak. And on it is a pig, and the pig is almost sitting. I picture a Shar where it's like their 2 back legs, like they're like laying on their hip on their one side, but they got their 2 front legs up, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see your tokens. Okay. Oh, I can see you now, Control L. And then what you see, actually I'm going to increase the light a little bit. As you're looking over and you see this, is you see one of the men with one of those shepherd's hooks at the ready. He's got some big gauntlets on, and you see him standing in front of a jar. And one of the other men, this jar is probably the size of it's probably 2 feet tall. And you see him with similar gauntlets pull the top off of one of these jars that he has to cut with a knife at first for the fabric that's sealing it. And as he pulls it down, you see the other gentleman take the shepherd's hook and dip it down into the jar, as it seems to be that something comes out of the jar. And it whips out as it does, but immediately it starts to, like, it's almost like a piece of cloth that's caught on a clothes hanger in the storm. It starts whipping around on the hook, and he pulls it up, and it's hard to make out what it is, but it starts making ungodly, ghastly noises as it's whipping back and forth, and he's got it on this hook, and he slowly brings it forward. And at this point, you start hearing crows, caw, caw, from a tree not far away from you, between where you are and the ceremony, closer to the ceremony than you. There's a couple of them cawing, caw, 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 and you hear the pig. Doesn't make much of a noise. It's just, you hear like a couple little snorts. And they start slowly moving that pole over towards the pig. And they start raising it just up above the pig. And you see it looks up. And at this point, you see that there's this pig is massive. It's probably about 1,200 pound pig. Actually, it's probably closer to a 1,600 pound pig. And it's got two massive goat horns coming off of its head, black. And you see it doesn't really move, it just lifts its head up, and they lower this whipping thing down, and you see him just and his, like, you can't really tell for, like, it suddenly you can't quite see what's going on there, but you hear and the wailing slowly pitter out.
Okay.
And as this happens, one last thing happens. You see the tree in front of you shift just slightly, like it waved in the wind.
I want to look at the tree closer. Like, not get closer to the tree, but, like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I'm just shifting some of the lighting for you. So, as you look over at the tree, give me a perception check.
What am I looking at? Perception. 2 and 2.
Actually, let's do one of these and one of those. Okay. You look over and you see a great elder beast skull mounted on some piece of flora that you mistook for a tree. These great elder beast antlers coming out off of it. It's like a giant elk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like just a massive elk. But it's your person would have known the difference between an elder beast and an elk, just because these are like spirits of the forest sort of skulls.
Okay.
More than they are like just an elk. So, but you see one of their skulls on top of this foliage or something, and you see, oh so slightly, like an exhale from the skull nostrils of like steam, like a crisp morning steam. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit, but you can see it from the fire being on the opposite side of where you are, and its head kind of cocked a little bit, where one of the sockets is kind of in your general direction, one of them towards the ceremony.
Okay. I have so many questions. Is the explanation done?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have any idea what that creature is? Like the elder.
Give me a knowledge dark or a knowledge nature check, and you tell me which one you do.
I will do a knowledge nature check because I know nature things. So that would be the first place my mind would think to check. 3 advantage, no success.
3 advantage and no success.
Yeah.
You're not sure if that is what frightens you about this thing, is that you don't know what it is. Yeah. You don't know if it's a friend or foe to the Woolund. If it was something that's always been here or something that is a newcomer.
Okay.
But it is clearly positioned similar to where a priest would be positioned in front of this altar.
Okay.
Or this stone pad.
This pig. Black Phillip's a goat, right?
Yes.
Not a pig.
Correct.
Is there anything I know about that creature?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a knowledge nature check.
Alright. 2 success.
Okay. To your knowledge, I mean, this appears to be some sort of large swine. It's not quite a warthog. Warthog would make sense to you because they got tusks that would shape similar to this, but wrong spot. And they would be tusks. They wouldn't be like the knobby, horns that are, because ram's horns are kind of like, they got like, it's almost like you stacked a whole bunch of donuts on top of each other and then like squished them a little bit. They got that kind of like cylindrical stack to them. These have that. You're pretty confident the woods don't have a horned pig in them.
And is there any sort of like lore that I've heard before about any sort of like god or thing like that would be about like a horned pig like this?
Give me a knowledge dark or a knowledge people check and tell me which one you do.
Things are feeling a little dark.
Okay.
One success, 4 advantage.
Okay. So you're pretty sure that this is some sort of, well, one, what they're attempting to make good with Black Phillip, and you can tell that these are goat horns, right?
Yeah.
Based off of the positioning, based off of what's going on, this pig is probably possessed in some way, shape, or form by the great Black Phillip.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right. I know I'm just asking a lot.
No, that's what this is for. It's good stuff.
The people, I may have missed this, but are they wearing anything distinctive? Like, are they like wearing like the same garb? Are they kind of ramshackle, regular people clothes, leathers?
The one thing that you would notice is that the leader has on some sort of I don't know, is it tabard? when you have it's basically like a long rectangle of cloth with a hole cut in it halfway down where you have it like draped down in front of you. It's like it basically drapes down to like about knee level on both sides, and then you got a belt across it. So they've got like it would be like if you're a knight, you'd have that over your armor.
Right.
You see that they have some piece of cloth like that appears to be ceremonial, in allegiance to Black Phillip.
Okay.
But everyone else, I mean, to be honest, looking at them, while they are armed, they don't look like they're the best armed group out there, right? Like, they don't have shining plate armor. A couple of them, I mean, they're pretty weathered guys, but they don't look to be, like, particularly well fed. It's not like every single one of them looks ironclad, veteran, tough as nails, necessarily.
Right. Okay. More questions about that jar now. That jar. My character's smart enough that I can just say she's thinking this. It's nice not to be a stupid rat like some people.
And that's the other thing too, is that necessarily because your person's so intelligent, just for the audience's sake, it's not like I'm saying that they're sitting here looking for 30 minutes. They're smart enough that they would be gathering all of this in the blink of an eye, relatively speaking. Kind of like if you look up and you see a red light at the stop sign, you just stop, right? So just for other folks, that's kind of what the thought is behind.
I need to get up to speed with what my character knows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So my thought with that jar was like, okay, is there like they pulling souls out of that thing? Does she know of anything like if that's even like a possible thing that? Like,
you can check Knowledge Dark.
But you can tell me to stop asking these.
No,
things.
you're fine.
That's how would you know that? That's 3 success, 2 advantage.
Wow, you did really well, and I rolled really bad for all those dice, so you're good. Her impression is that based off of the wailing from this thing and the feel that she had when she was reaching out for her brother, that there was a damn soul of some sort or something like that. It might not have been necessarily a fully made soul or full remnant. It felt like it was a spirit is maybe a better word for it. Something that was wailing in agony. Maybe it's a tattered version of one, but that jar held it in some way, shape, or form. And apparently that hook did too.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm stuck thinking about that the shepherd's hook in the other room again.
Yeah.
Like, do I want one of them?
Yeah. To be more accurate too, right? So like, there's a difference between a corporeal spirit and a spirit that exists in the potentia, right?
Right.
This was a visible spirit, so that's why I meant more probably along the lines of like a ghost than necessarily just spirits.
Right.
So that is important.
No, that makes sense. That's a good thing to point out.
Because if you were trying to like, could my brother fit in this jar? It's like, well, your brother isn't manifest on this world, so
right. He's not a physical element. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is that issue.
That's fine. That's kind of fair. Can't hook him. All right. I am going to try to back away.
Okay.
Extract myself from the situation.
Okay.
As long as it seems like you, I sat and watched that ceremony for a while. I'm assuming, like, I don't know what they're doing right now, but
they appear to be opening up another jar.
Okay.
So, as you back away, you hear some caw, caw, caw. Just like, not like, no one stops or anything like that, but you hear some of these crows cawing. And two, in fact, flick over into your general direction and land on other trees. And like, look over at you, kind of cock a head.
Okay, so they're noticing me. Do I get any weird vibes, man, about these crows?
You got a lot of weird vibes. To be honest, this is just to be perfectly clear, there's a lot of weird, terrible feelings going on in this place right now.
Yeah.
The sheer, like, feeling coming from that pig is probably masking a lot of the other feels. But you can still, like, you sensed some sort of sentience to that thing between you and the pig too. Like, like there's an eerie, like, metric S load of Emendaja in this place.
Okay. Emendaja, do you want to just tell us what that is?
It is the hair that stands up on the back of your neck. It is the feeling that you get when a actor decides to go into the basement in that scary movie. It is the everything that is wrong in the world saying, like, hey, yeah, no, like, don't. You hear the train tracks at night, and you see those lights blinking. That feeling that tells you to turn back. That's what Emendaja is. No one knows what it is necessarily, but some people claim it to be a god in and of itself. Others claim that it's just a force of nature, etc.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out of here discreetly.
Okay.
Kind of worried about those crows, but whatever. They're not noticing me. It's fine.
Give me another stealth check.
Side glances.
Get 2 boost dice.
Hey, 3 success.
Okay. Where do you go?
Back the way we came. Unless I have one more question. For now. I'll have tons of questions by the end of the session, but was there anything more, like, I know this isn't the right north, but towards the top of the map, right? Like beyond the single building, but not, not up the...
There's some, like, horses that have been tied off to stakes. There's been some supplies that have been set out in crates. But there's not other buildings. There's a small trail that leads away.
I'm gonna go down that trail.
Okay.
As long as it's not the same trail I came from.
Nope.
They seem otherwise disposed for a moment. So.
Yep. This trail is a little bit more of a formal trail, it appears, and it heads north from here. 2 of the crows follow you.
Okay.
It's a dirt trail. As you...
I'm not gonna go like super far. I just kind of like want to get a gauge of like where it goes. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Like,
it appears to be the main path heading to this, to and from this this cabin.
Okay.
It heads north from here, from what you can see.
Okay. What would be north of here? From the map, all I know is it's deeper in the Gnarlwood or whatever. It's the Gnarlwood, right?
Yep.
Okay. Wait, did I come from the Gnarlwood or did I come from the...
You came from the Gnarlwood.
Gnarlwood, okay.
But keep in mind that the Gnarlwood is like the size of Minnesota.
Yeah. No, I just couldn't remember if that was my woods too.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, so I know the Gnarlwood a little better, but probably not this area. So
right.
Just.
Yep. So yeah, you are just inside the Gnarlwood right now.
Okay.
heading north on this path isn't something that you would be you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know the geography.
That's fine. That makes sense. But like the Gnarlwood, like we're on the edge, and the Gnarlwood's super deep, so it definitely is just like heading deeper into the woods.
Yes.
Okay.
That you can tell from here because you'd have to travel it to see if it turned or something like that.
Right. And I don't see any more buildings or like a clearing or anything in the next. Let's say I
Correct.
do 5 minutes, or
Yeah. So if you walk 5 minutes down the path, you wouldn't see another building.
Okay.
What you can surmise, though, based off of your intelligence and based off of your local knowledge, actually, give me a knowledge people check, quick.
Okay. 5 and 1. 5 success.
Holy crap! Based off of what you've seen inside the shack, and based off of this road, you surmise that this is probably a woodcutter's shack.
Okay.
So there's down this road is probably a way toward a sawmill of some sort, but it wouldn't be off of this small brook. It would be off of the. I'm spacing on the name of it right now. The Fulcrum Stream. So that way they could float their logs down to town. So this is probably someone's place just that they live at. So it probably winds back west from here at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what you can gather based off of. You're like, there's no other reason why people would be this close. They could be gatherers, that sort of thing. It would be very valuable, but no one would want to live here because it is pretty dangerous. They would really only be here for a small amount of time. That's why there's a couple of beds up top too. Is so that they could have a couple of helpers go in, get stuff done, get out.
Okay. I am gonna turn back and try to leave basically the way we came.
Okay. Do you gather up your traps or anything like that?
As long as they still seem very like very clearly still in their ceremony, I will gather my traps because I don't want them to know that I was here.
Okay, give me a skullduggery check.
It's fair. Okay. Nothing on 3 green dice. Blanks.
Okay. So you gather up your traps, and what I'll say is that it turns into effectively. If we look at the cheat sheet on. I want you to be able to make it at least one. I want you to be able to make a trap out of this material again, quick. So I just want to take a look at crafting on the fly. Supplies can be for difficulties equal to rarity over 2.
I did have.
And enough supplies. Encumbrance of item times 10. Okay, so it would say 10. You get 10 rarity 1 supplies.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. But it's dark. You got mud on you. You know that, and the spell is dissipated from them.
Oh yeah, I was definitely watching that ceremony for over 10 minutes at least, and I also walked 5 minutes and 5 minutes back. Like it's a 10-minute spell, so
yeah.
It gone. Also, I probably left a horrendous mess because apparently I'm much better at putting traps up than taking them down.
In the dark. You have no dismantled trap via magic.
Yes.
The trap's like, no, I want to stay. You're like, no, it's time to go. Stay.
Yeah. Mud sticker. All right. Yeah. I'm going to assume I'm going to try to make sure try to make it so it's not clear that we came this way, but
that's
assuming...
part of that roll, so you're done with that.
That's fine. That's totally fine. And then I'm gonna exit out whence we came down the trail back to the water.
Yep. Okay. I assume you make your way back to town.
Yes.
Where do you go from there? So it's probably about, we'll call it midnight.
Midnight?
Yeah.
I thought it was way later than that.
Well, it was like 7 when you set out, and it was probably an hour and a half.
That's fair. It was like dinner time for those folks when we saw them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is reasonable. Okay.
So it's probably like 10, to be honest.
Oh God, how much money do I have? I do have more money because I stole some health potions. Okay. Yeah. So I will go back into town and try to find a place to crash for the night.
Okay. Yeah, it's not hard to do. You find a place to crash. It's 5 silver for a room. I'm gonna say, unless you guys want to, it's 5 silver each.
Okay.
And then it's 2 silver for a hot meal each, as well.
I will we'll just eat our corn. It's gonna go bad if we don't.
And you can get a normal room with just a normal room, and then someone sleep on the ground with a sack, so to speak, a sleeping bag. They just won't get the boost for the next day from the bed.
I haven't been adding boost to any of my rules. I totally forgot that mechanic.
No problem.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, you're used to sleeping on sticks and stuff, and a feather bed is nothing that you've ever experienced.
Yeah, it honestly must have just made me uncomfortable for a little while, but like I'm getting used to it now, and now I will get that boost because
there you go.
I'm gonna add a note on my sheet that rolled if sleep and get boost for day. That's fine. We'll each get a room, even though I'm not sure I want Art to, want to splurge on Art, but it's fine.
So you got a room, but not 2. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's just 5 silver for that.
Yep, but I'm taking the bed because I'm still mad at Art, and it's my money.
I understand. He kind of curls up like a dog at the foot of the bed.
Well,
like,
no,
not on the bed, like...
We have a weird relationship.
Yeah. Okay. You sleep through the night, unmolested.
Is it possible for me to check in on my brother and still get rested?
Archek is really tired.
Okay, that's fine.
So there is
not...
that.
Yeah.
If you would like to attempt to
talk
Archek to your brother, it's already, huh?
I forgot Archek has to be awake and like guide me through that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say he won't be able to guide you through that tonight. He can't go 2 nights without sleep.
That's okay.
He could do, if you'd like a check-in each night, a smaller one though. So
we'll
to speak.
sleep now because we're pretty tired.
Yeah, I just want to mention that like if you wanted to do like 2 hours, then 6 hours, something like that, he would be able to do that. Because I know you're gonna be on the road, so to speak, soon too. So
right.
Shifts and stuff like that this is gonna start to become a pretty important mechanic, and you do need to reach out to him regularly. So you don't need to spend all night hanging out with your brother. You would just need like 2 hours.
That's fine. We'll get our nights, like we'll get a night's worth of sleep, and then if we could meditate with each other in the morning, check in on my brother really quick.
Okay.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So you go ahead and you do that. Would you like to roleplay that, or would you like to skip over that?
I don't have anything for him that I need to ask him about or talk to him about right now. So I'm okay with skipping
talking
roleplay unless he's got something new going on his side.
No problem. Yeah, talking to your brother, it seems like old times, except, you known him to be a bit soft-spoken, and it's starting to concern you because he's more soft spoken this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost like if you ever talk to someone who's depressed, like there's just something there. You know, like it's
Right.
not sadness. It's something both more and less, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just there in the room with you.
Mm-hmm. I try to show him, like, how I could, like, make the stick creatures and then, like, bring them to life to try to cheer him up.
It's remarkably easy to do here. In fact, when you go to do it, is this like you can't even tell the difference between walnut and walnut.
Right.
Like it comes almost second nature here, and so you actually end up having to spend some time trying to, instead of just summoning walnuts and having him look like an actual squirrel, you're like, no, what I did was closer to this, and you have to actually focus on trying to make it look less like him and more sticky.
Like, you remember when I used to put those things together, where out of the wood, and I'd build like a little friend.
Yeah.
You know.
So you guys laugh and have a good time on it. Walnut perches on his shoulder and he feeds Walnut, and so
And I try to, like, be like, okay, now he has a friend, right? Like, okay, Walnut's there with him now.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's not all alone. We'll see if it lasts.
Right.
Okay, that works for me.
Beautiful.
And then we'll head over to the cathedral place.
Okay.
I assume. I forgot the main guy's name who we have to greet every day, but
Trombell.
top of the morning to you, Tromble.
Yeah.
How you doing
Looks
on
up a
this
bit.
smiley day?
What can I help you with?
Just here to see Penelope again.
Pew 8 kind of looks over at it. You see, like, there's 4 other people. I expect you'll have to wait about 1 hour.
That's actually fine, thank you. And I sit down and I'm gonna pass Art Check the Bible that we found, and I'm gonna read through the journal. Just say, look and see if you see anything in there about what we saw last night.
He kind of opens it up and flips a couple pages. I can't read this very well. It's a mixture of common and what's the celestial.
Celestial. I also can't read Celestial. That is the one I can't.
Yeah, so it's a mixture of those.
Oh,
so you can pick up a couple words here and there, but it's actually you have a hard time.
Okay, like I got the gist that I got earlier. I don't think I'd get more than that. So I will. We'll see if there's any pictures or something for him, right? And I'm gonna read the journal.
Okay.
Because I didn't really get a download of what the journal was, you know.
Yeah. You know what? We'll make it. There's celestial, primal, and common in there. So you would get enough to understand some of it, but not all of it. But he would not at all.
Okay. What is the journal in?
Sorry, the journal's common. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'll give him the journal to read then, and I'll read the.
You
Bible.
can get from the Bible. You can get what you got earlier. Like
I already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if I already read it, then I'll read the journal.
Well, is like you can read into it more, but like unless you want me to like start telling you and dictating like the whole church, like
No, that's what I was saying.
Like,
Is like
yeah.
I think I got plenty from
yeah,
the
you're fine.
Bible, but then you were like saying like all that, so I thought you were saying there's more to learn there.
No, I was simply just stating that Because if it was just Celestial, you wouldn't have gotten any of what you got. And Black Phillip
Right.
is kind of like he's kind of in the middle between Celestial and Primal when it comes to his orientation. So
Yeah.
you would still have gotten as much as you would have. It's just one of those things where there would have been a mix of Celestial into the influence of the writing. So.
Gotcha.
So yeah, sitting down. This appears to be a manifesto written by someone by the name of Keela.
Okay.
It details their journey throughout the land and some of the things that they've run into. Let me take a look. I gotta pull up the map real quick. I think she's from. I'm spacing on the name of the town. Let's just pull it up for me. So.
Could I see the map too?
Sure. Yeah. Is it Hallstad? That was the churchy place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So she appears to be from Hallstad. It appears that she had some falling out with some of the people there with different different thought processes on some of the different gods. She thought that let's see, what's the name? Ooh. It sounds like that she starts to worship Black Phillip about halfway through her formal education. Why don't I have a table of contents? There you go. Thank you. Okay. It sounds like she was going to go to school to become an undertaker, but had some strife in her life that led her to become one of the hounds of reclamation instead, having kind of developed some spit and vinegar throughout her education, and needing to see a little bit more of a response in the world. They set out, and there's details in some of their visits in some of these other towns, some of the other people that they met. It's full of disappointment in the world, and it sounds like these people have been hard at work to really help a lot of people, but you sense a lot of hatred and bitterness seeping into the pages as time goes forward, or as the further to the back of the book that you get. And before you can get any further, though, you notice that you guys are at the end of the pew.
Okay. So we can walk on up to the door.
Yep. So you go back to the back hall, around the corner, back towards where Penelope's office is. The door's slightly ajar.
I still knock.
Yep. Well, come in.
Good morning.
Well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? She says as she's throws a couple eyes in what looks to be like a morning beverage of some sort. It's in like a whiskey glass. She like moves it moves it up, starts sipping on it.
That's an interesting concoction.
I could make you one.
Oh, I am just fine. I'm actually more of a vegetarian unless
I
things
wouldn't
come
mind.
really
Oh
tough,
sure,
you know?
oh sure, Archek. And 2 eyes or 3? It's been a rough evening. We'll go with 4. And she starts pulling. It looks to be like a pickle jar or something like that. She starts like fishing out some eyes and putting them in here into a glass and starts like pouring some sort of like, it's almost like a syrupy texture fluid into there.
I was just thinking it was formaldehyde, so I don't know.
So the eyes it's kind of congealed, but she like swirls it with her finger a little bit and like goes to like suck her finger clean and like the fingernail comes off. She like and like puts it back on and then like hands the glass over, and you see like Archie's like, it's so good. You should really try it.
I am. Nope.
He's got like his little feelers in there, like getting it, like fingering it in, so to speak.
Nope, just fine. Anyways, we had a rather productive night last night, I would say. I kind of set the journals in front of us. So we found a path out of we found the path the hounds take out of the forest, or out to the forest.
Oh?
It's down.
Did you end up using those tailors for that?
Yes, they were actually of great help, despite kind of being a little scary at the forefront. They really turned things around for us.
I suppose that's fortunate.
They were honest
and unfortunate.
Yes.
So where are they headed these days? Where can we root these guys out?
You're saying out of town. It was in fact out of town.
Yeah, right on the edge of the Gnarlwood at what looked like an old woodcutter shack. If you follow the stream, it leads right there.
Follow the stream. You'll have to.
Yes.
If you could spend some time with our men, you could lead them at least to the stream forward.
Absolutely.
Once you get within sight of the facility, you can turn around and head back. But we do need to make sure we get to the right location. And after confirming and apprehending the men, you'll get your gold, just in case there's any. We don't want to necessarily start giving out money prematurely, or else folks will catch wind of it, right?
So
Keela, huh?
Keela, I'm not sure. I know she's one of the Hounds of Reclamation. I found it in there. She started from what I've read there, she started in Hallstatt.
Oh, that's a far ways from here. All across the old world.
Yeah, worshipped Black Phillip, kind of did join the Hounds of Reclamation rather than becoming an undertaker, and it's been, sounds like trying to help people out, but I'm not quite sure that's where we're at this point.
Well, that's unfortunately most folks have some sort of story behind what they're doing, but alright. Did you find any sign of evil doing? I shouldn't say of any unlawful doing. Were they killing anyone?
No, I don't know much about the dark arts. Is that the term for it? I don't want to be politically incorrect. Dark arts, is that right? Okay, is that what we're calling it these days?
Our chick goes, well, we used to just call it the art amongst us, but... And then Penelope waves her hand. Dark is simply a term used for things that folks don't understand and scare them because they don't understand it in their ignorance. But yes, most folks would refer to Archek's typical folks' abilities, as well as those who abide here amongst us, as dark.
Okay. Well,
some of it can broke out. If you really want to talk about schools of magic, it really depends based off of the group. A lot of what we do actually ends up being witchcraft, but there is some script magic that we'll borrow from the dwarves. Some of our folk, in fact, many of our folk exhibit abilities of sorcery. Sorcery being something that is less classically trained and more akin to what you would find in majestic beings of the wood, which you might be familiar with, as elder beasts would be one of these.
That
she
was ironic.
Ironic, you say? She kind of keeps flipping the pages a little bit.
It's odd of you to mention an elder beast specifically. I'm just gonna try to do like a perception check. I know you could have just been like a slip up, right? But it's weird for her to mention that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do a interpretation check.
Okay. Like, today is the first day I've heard Elder Beast. And then now she's mentioning it, so okay.
Yeah.
So I got a crit and 2 success.
Elder beasts are one of the more popular, like, creatures out there when it comes to someone talking about, like, a mermaid or a fairy or something like that. That would be something that you would expect from folks, especially someone who's looking at a woodland and trying to describe what sorcery is, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. I just wanted to make sure. Like, oh, that's a real rare creature. Okay.
Which it is.
Yeah.
But it's iconically rare.
Yeah. Okay. So we followed the stream into the forest. We found a hunter's shack or a woodcutter's shack, and there was some sort of and that's where we got those 2 books. We found those in there. That's proof. They say the Hounds of Reclamation in there.
The shack was empty. You managed to get it inside the shack with the Hounds of Reclamation there.
There was no one in the shack because they were all up on the hill performing some sort of ceremony, which we got close enough to watch parts of, and it was very unusual. They had these shepherd hooks, and these big jars, and it seemed almost as if they had spirits in those jars that they pulled out with the shepherd hook. It was screaming. The souls were screaming, and they grabbed those, and there was this massive pig on this altar, biggest pig I've ever seen, with these massive horns, and they fed him.
Well, I'm sorry you had to see that.
Screaming.
Hopefully we can compensate your trauma.
And there was this thing watching. You mentioned the Elder Beast, and there was this thing in the woods with this Elder Beast skull on it. It was almost like a tree or a creature of the woods, but with a skull of the Elder Beast for a head.
Huh. Well, you don't say.
It wasn't familiar to me, and the hog wasn't either, and I myself am from the Narwood. I don't recognize these things, but they set me on edge, especially that pig. It made me think it was being possessed by Black Phillip, but
that's exactly what I hoped you would describe. So, unfortunately and fortunately, I mean, you can't get much more red-handed than that. But at the same time, it does speak to the level of severity of the situation that we've had at hand with disappearances. I'll bring this information to Sebastian at once, and he can put it forth from there to the militant branch of the Vigor Mortis, and go from there. If you would if you would kindly wait around for tomorrow, and I'm sure we can follow up on your story here and make sure that we confirm that, and then we can give you purchase at that point.
Okay. Do you? I mean, whatever we can offer to help at this point.
If you could just guide our men, wait here, and we'll need you to guide our men to the brook and potentially up the brook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because one thing that could happen is if we spend too much time knocking on every door along that brook, what will eventually happen is that they'll catch wind of it and be gone before we get there.
Right. Of course.
From there, what would you like to do?
So they want a day to gather their people before we lead them. Then I would like to spend the day trying to strengthen the bond with my brother and practice my magic, like trying to find a way to eventually like bring him here for a little bit, like Art and I were talking about. I know I'm probably not ready for that yet.
Okay.
But
so she asks that you meet her back at the facility here at the Iron Cathedral by midday, and you'll hear the bells strike, signaling midday.
Okay.
So you do have enough time to either go take a nap and join up with your brother for a little bit,
Which I already tried to talk to him this morning. So.
Yep. Or you can go and gather up supplies and attempt a larger animal.
Okay.
As far as a spirit calling.
Yeah.
Which would be the path toward eventually being able to summon your brother.
Yeah. Let's try to get something bigger.
Okay.
Last time I made a porcupine. I made a squirrel so far. I made a porcupine. Let's see. We'll go for a sloth this time.
Ah, are you going for
those famous sloths?
Those famous quilled sloths?
The quilled sloths.
Okay.
It's very similar.
You
to
can
the
go for flying.
but
There are flying monkeys.
No.
That is bigger.
Flying monkeys bigger than
flying
the quilled
monkeys
sloths?
About the same size as a quilled sloth, but it's one thing that's not quilled that you haven't done yet. You could also do a black bear. You could do...
A black bear is way bigger than I thought. I was trying to like ease up.
Black bears?
Oh, they're really big.
Black bears are like the size of a big dog.
You just got kicked out of the Discord.
Oh no. Darn you, Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, black bears are about the size of like a large wolf. They're
if that's
they're,
the next
they're
step
fatter,
I can take.
like they're thicker, but like
Yeah,
a big
sure.
dog is about the size of a black bear.
I like that. I'll do a bear.
Cool. Can you see me now?
Yes, now I can.
Okay. Oh, where'd you go? Okay, so gathering materials takes you all the way up till about midday, and you are not quite yet able to cast this. You can look forward to that when you come back.
Okay. Enough materials for one big old bear. That's...
Yeah, that's actually I have this written down on on the spells information here that I have. Let me just pull that up. Spells. It's going to it's going to be 50 rarity 1 supplies. Every 10 is 1 encumbrance. It is 5 encumbrance.
5 encumbrance?
Okay. It is a black bear's worth of supplies.
Yeah.
It's like carrying a body.
I'm not saying, oh my god, how could you do that to me? I'm more like 5 encumbrance, can I carry that? Which I can.
Okay. Yeah, you find enough space in your backpack and stuff like that. So
Small bear.
Yep.
Alright.
How much what's your encumbrance at this point?
10 of 11.
10 of 11. Okay. Yeah. So you're like
my backpack's pretty stuffed full.
Yeah. So when you're asked to guide these folks, you are brought along with probably 30 people. 10 of them are black knights in what appears to be like heavy robes with large plate armor over the top, but what you see underneath is a creepy visage of almost like a burnt flesh face underneath.
Okay.
And with them ride 2 what appear to be like Grim Reaper ring wraith-esque, so they got a scythe and they're like shrouded in cloth on skeletal horses.
Hot.
There are average humanoids, varying from Leonin to Orc to Null to human, and so on, with them as well, making up the bulk of the folks here who have agreed to go and help flush out the Hounds in Reclamation. And then there's you, in the front, waddling through the stream, with your bag on, and it soaks in.
I'm gonna make me a black bear, everybody. And I'm going into we're far enough away that I'm not worried about people looking at seeing us yet. So I'm going into the various types of bears and how there's such a big difference between both their appearance and their personality, and it's very important that you understand the distinctions and.
Archek is trying to strike up conversation with a few of the two horsemen, as a matter of fact, and they don't seem to be responding that you can tell, but he seems to be having a conversation with them.
All right.
And you lead him down the stream for about an hour, and eventually you come towards the path, and you can kind of see the hilltop from here. You can't really see the house necessarily from the forest. From the stream very well. You'd have to walk down the path a little bit further. But do you want to go with them at this point? You can turn back yourself.
I can, but do I get extra money if I go?
No.
Because I didn't root them out myself.
Correct. These people have all been paid to root these people out. So you would have you'd be basically the amount of gold that you were promised for doing that has been divided up by these people. So if you did help, it would be a much smaller sum.
Okay.
But you didn't bargain for that, so you would be going out on a limb, hoping to be able to jump in on that wheelhouse.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I do want to I want to get to the point to see if they're there.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I just want to make sure I didn't leave them to somewhere totally abandoned.
Yep. So, roll me a d20.
Can I have one?
Actually, sure. I got 2d10 here. Roll me one of these d10.
Okay, I got a 4.
Okay. So, as you're going down the path leading these folks, you get to the point where any closer, and you will have to. These guys are gonna have to blitz in order to actually catch these guys by surprise. If you walk around the corner, you're like, there they are. You're bringing 30 people along a path, so it's gonna make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So you choose to go forward?
I'll let them go.
Okay.
But I'll wait for a second.
Yeah. You hear shouts in the distance, followed by the sounds of battle.
Okay.
What do you do?
Do we need to fight this fight?
I tend to avoid these things when I can. We did what we needed to.
I mean...
In fact, I don't even think it's safe to be standing here.
I agree, and I don't want to cause unnecessary bloodshed, and I think we should go.
With that, you head back towards town, I assume.
Yeah.
We can shoot forward, and they'll give you your money, etc. if you'd like. But we can cut to you being summoned for Penelope as well. What are you gonna be just be waiting around for them to contact you? Or are you going straight back to Penelope? Are you gonna wait here for these?
I'm not gonna wait here for these guys. I'm gonna go back to town. If I have time, I'll try to make my bear.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I would, and then I'd go see Penelope again.
Yeah. So, give me a witchcraft check. And you're using component casting, so don't forget about that.
I can use component casting.
I'm saying that you get the bonus from component casting
Okay.
when casting these spells because they do require components.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if I had to use an extra component to do it. You know?
This one specifically, because it requires 50 rarity 1 supplies, like
Alright, I got a
don't forget
triumph
to add a boost from art check as well.
from our check as well as my meal.
Mhm.
Or no. Yeah, because I slept in a bed, so I guess
Slept in a bed. Yep.
Yep.
And if you ate a hot meal, you healed 2 yesterday.
I didn't eat a hot meal. I got a triumph and 7 success.
Please detail for everyone what happens when you make manifest this bear.
What happens when I make manifest this bear? Okay, so I spend an absurdly, you know how like I was going into all those details, exactly what a black bear would
Yeah.
look like, right? Like very excited about it, and then so like okay, so then I perfectly construct this like it's actually even before the magic touches it, like that's definitely a bear.
Has it got thistle flowers for eyes?
Yes, it has little thistle flowers for eyes. It's got like nice like it's made out of sticks, but also like nice fresh like vines around it as well to kind of hold it together.
I imagine that you got like some mud from the shore that you like packed and allowed to dry.
Yeah, I
makes
found
nice.
some like nice like fur like needle type things to kind of
Mhm.
like stick and be like the fur. Like it's a pretty cool cool sculpture.
Yeah.
And then I get into my zen, get myself into the groove of what it's like to be, you know, a bear, and find myself a bear soul that like brings it to life, and it starts to just kind of like shamble about, like it's walking around, like, huh, what's this? It's kind of looking, sniffing around. It's pretty chill, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So with your massive success, one thing to note is that so you just gain the ability to, the spell is called Ritual Cast Construct. I'll give you the information for it now, but you will have to cast again in the future. So I'm giving you the elk and the porcupine.
Okay. Awesome.
Basically, what it is you suffer 1 strain per hour that it is out,
Okay.
but it does not require concentration.
Okay.
Let me slides here.
Then they scrunch him behind the ears because he's a different.
He kind of goes to lick you, and he doesn't. Actually, he licks you, and it's got that like feeling of being wet, but then when you go to touch, it's dry.
Yeah. This is nice.
And then so the sheets, it's gonna say undead elk or undead, undead elk or undead porcupine, large porcupine. The reason for that is because, like undead, these things will not suffer from poison. They do not need to breathe. They do not need to eat, and they do not need to sleep.
Okay.
So that's what that is. It's not like it's like help me.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. Like.
Okay.
Okay.
And then those are in the Genesis adversaries list, which I can actually pull up for you.
I was gonna say I don't know that I've got that, but I can check. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
No problem. I'm pulling them up right now.
Yeah. Cool.
So your elk. I'm posting right now. and your porcupine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.
So 3 soak, 14 health, speed of 5 on that elk. It's got an antler attack and a hoof attack. Sure-footed, so it can move through all difficult terrain. Nice and cool.
Awesome.
Porcupine is a little bit more defensive, so he's got actually less health. Same soak. He's got defense though.
Okay.
So two defense, and then he's got abilities. So he's got hazard terrain. When adjacent to an enemy, all attacks against that enemy from allies gain the bleed to easy quality. So you can effectively hit someone, and if you have advantage, you can make them suffer bleed because they like get bumped into the porcupine, which pokes them.
Mm-hmm.
It also has spiky defense. Melee attacks have adversary 4, which means that you upgrade checks against him 4 times. So instead of 1 purple die, you go to effectively 1 red die and 2 red dice, right?
2 red dice.
No, 2 red dice and a purple die is what it is. Because you add
Yeah.
2, yeah. So you get all of that. So it's even. So his total defense is 2 black, 2 red, and a purple. And if anyone hits him, he can spend 3 threat or 1 despair to inflict bleed too easy on them. And then he's got a ram attack and then a projectile shot attack.
Nice. That's awesome.
Which spike shot? That should be range short. Sorry about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
You'll digest that later.
The range shot does 0 damage, pierce 4, which means that any success that he would have would be the damage, but he can pierce through a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can actually take damage to make the attack get extra wounds.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like his pieces are going away because he's shooting them off of him.
Yeah, he's shooting pieces of himself. Yep, that makes sense.
And
But
the
he's
elk,
so cute.
yeah, the elk is just like a classic. You know, he's strong, he's fast,
Mm-hmm.
he can hit hard, and that's what he does.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Solid.
yeah. Okay.
Look, she's just experimenting right now with the best creatures to make, but
You'll eventually figure those 2 out.
Yeah.
Right now you got your bear, and he's just a happy boy.
he's just a happy boy, and I realized during it I'm like he's a happy boy and all, but like I kind of liked my porcupine from earlier, but he was kind of small, and I'm like, what if he was like a bear, but he was a porcupine? I mean, I don't have to stick to these generic sizes, you know.
No, you be careful.
What
You will make a home for a spirit. You do not make a creature. You make a home. It must lure the spirit to it. You make a hedgehog for a hedgehog, and you make a bear for a bear. Do not make something and force a soul to stretch and fit into what you want. That quickly turns into necromancy. You're simply providing a soul a home. You're not bending and stretching a soul to fit into something of your will.
That's a very good point, Art. Thanks for setting me straight on that one. I want them to be comfortable.
You wouldn't want to force your brother down into being something he doesn't want to be.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
You should treat all spirits in the same fashion.
Yes.
Otherwise, they will run to Philip, if anything.
It's not what we want. All right.
Okay, so you spent some time with the bear. Question is, do you bring the bear with you into town?
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to know that I could.
You go and see Penelope.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. we should have this all settled. There's a few deaths in the process of getting them down and bringing them to justice, but less than what would have happened if we left them to their own devices. So I think you've earned these. And she slides 4 gold pieces across the table.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You're welcome back at Holden Ford anytime. Just make sure that you pay attention to your surroundings around here. There are some types that unfortunately are part of the union, so to speak, here, and are ironbone, but still know the nature of those that you surround yourself with.
Thank you.
Good luck out there. Where you going, kid? You sticking around, or?
No, we're getting out of here. Have to do something for my brother. So we have to get out of town.
Nothing that we can't do for your brother here?
No, afraid I don't think so.
All right. Well, take care.
Thank you. I want to go. I do want to ask that guy. I want to pay him the 100 silver. The Tywin.
Okay.
For learn about ephemera.
So you got to sit around a little bit more, and eventually, an opening arises for you to be able to converse with him. Well. Listen, if you aren't a sight for sore eyes, did you finally get that money you were looking for?
I did, and I kind of over a gold.
Well, that is mighty fine indeed. So, you're looking to find information on who was it again at this point?
Ephemera?
Ephemera. Wow, you surely got your sights set, don't you? Well, what I can tell you about Ephemera is that she tends to come this way at least each turn, but she doesn't live around here, all right? She's what you could say. What's the right phrase for it? You might know. I think you might know the phrase vampire. Does that ring a bell for you?
That sounds familiar, yes?
Knowledge dark check, unless you've already succeeded this before.
200.
Yeah, that's some old world stuff. It's not something that you would have heard of in your trees, so to speak. Though, roll a boost die real quick.
Oh, I didn't roll my boost for my
Get one for your
food.
for your
one and one.
origin, so to speak.
I got 1 success, 1 additional success, and 1 additional advantage.
Okay, so 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got 2 and 3 over here, but it's important to make sure that your origin stuff gives you at least some sort of advantage on that. Yeah, you have heard a bit of vampire. It roughly translates to like fallen brother to you guys, to you Woolund, that is. So he asks you, have you heard of these folks? And you know them to be folks who dwell in the long night, in the Winterlands. Someone that you would rarely ever come across, but you do have stories of having somewhat of ancestral ties to them.
The Fallen Brothers. Sorry, you can continue if you have more to give me.
Ephemera is vampire. That we know. She tends to come around once every turn, roughly speaking. But she isn't one to be bolted down. She's not part of the Vigor Mortis. She's not an Ironbone. She is a mercenary type, going where the money is.
Mercenary.
So, if she did something that would slight you, one, it's probably nothing personal, despite it being obviously very personal for you, and I'm sorry. But you might want to look toward who she's working for, because she often doesn't do these things. And she often doesn't do anything that would cause her to have to take up root. And if you are going after her, be careful. The vampire are not just trained killers, not just bred killers. They are remade predators in this world. They have been adapting to prey on the civilized world since before the fall of Utica. Perhaps since before the rise, but the paperwork doesn't go back that far.
So you're saying they're not exactly the best of folk?
Oh no, they're you can meet some who have changed mindsets over the years, but no.
What do you know of...
I would run if I came across the vampire.
What do you know of vampire? What do they do? How...
Some are said to serve they are said to serve something greater than themselves. A profane. Though no particular profane has been named as the sole leader of the vampire. They don't ascribe to one patriarch that we know of. That information is kept beyond what we have been able to comprise since the relatively recent birth of the Vigor Mortis.
Have you heard of a thrall before?
Yes, thralls. So, as far as the vampire go, thralls are you could claim that they are the pets of the vampire. It is said that their blood is intoxicating to any that come across them. I mean, even their mere gaze manages to lure folks away. It is said that the mermaid learned from them and trained from the vampire themselves.
Oh.
But that being said, the blood giveth and the blood taketh away for those folks, which is talking about blood magic and everything like that, and blood sorceries. We've got scholars going back and forth on it around here. But what we do know is that they feed on blood, and when they give blood to others, it makes them lose their minds into addiction.
I see. And there's no way out of that once.
Oh, there is. There's ways.
I see.
You kill the vampire. You can do. Once the vampire is dead, that has enthralled them. Traditional methods of detoxification can come after that. There will be withdrawals. However, yeah.
I see. And you know nothing else of her?
I hear she's been doing having some business out of the Lemoore area recently, but like I said, your information might be more ahead of mine if she's all the way up in this area.
Thank you.
Yeah, if there's anything else that you need to know, more specific information, let us know. We can root it out for a fee, of course. We do have spies down in the Lemoore area that can ferry information here. It will take some time, but...
I have a boat to catch.
All right. Well, I hope I hope everything is well for you. Thank you for reaching out.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Gotta have a talk with Art.
Was Archek there for that, or did you have him sit somewhere else?
No, I would have gone along.
Okay.
But I was going to approach him after.
Okay. So where was he?
Waiting in the cathedral.
Okay, at the pews. Okay. Did he have any information on Ephemeria that we can follow?
She's a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I know she was trying, I heard the word thrall, trying to turn the people into thralls. They feed on, she feeds them her blood, and they get intoxicated by her gaze and her blood, and they become obsessed. Something else, but did you already know all that? No, I didn't. But it makes sense. Then why did you kill him?
I did because I know a little of what the Onyx have been doing.
You have to tell me now, because they just told me that if he'd been taken as a thrall, if we could have, he would have been alive still. We could have killed the vampire, and then we could have detoxed, and he would have been back to what he was.
If he knows the vampire, then he knows he would never tell you could kill them. But let's find a comfortable place to sit to talk.
Fine.
Where do you go?
Park.
Okay. Sits down in the park. He sighs a bit. He looks over at you. He goes, there are many powerful beings in this world. And some folks have taken up patronage. As you can see, the Hounds of Reclamation have chosen Black Phillip to champion.
Right.
And as you can see, there is both good and bad that comes from that. They try to help, but in the same time, sometimes they hurt. And even while they cause pain, there are some good things that come out of their efforts even after that. Like with Nellet. It takes some faith, but I believe I have found someone I can trust and follow. And their name is Leanne Shea.
Could you say that again?
Leanne Shea. Leann Anishe, something like that.
Is that all one word?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
That'll get you in the ballpark.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wasn't sure if it was supposed to be like multiple words, or if I heard it read, or if it was like two things, like Leanne and Shay.
No, yeah, Leanne and Shea. No.
Did I run into them earlier
What do you mean?
in a different campaign?
Yep.
Okay, thought so.
So he looks at you and goes, I
was in Bronton looking for something for Leanne and Shay. Something of the onyx. Something that does not exist in many forms in this world. And because of that, I believe many players are involved. But I, as a servant of Leanne and Shay, was asked to retrieve this item.
Okay.
The onyx have been experimenting, looking for a way to make prodigy. I think they are capturing the spirits or the potentia from spirits and using them in this direction.
What do you mean? Capturing spirits and...
Do you remember those jars
Yes.
that we saw on the hill?
Yes.
I believe they have found a way to do something similar, but for anyone.
Capture a soul. Put it in a jar. What good does that do?
What if the only thing that they lack in creating their own kin are the souls or the potentia that those represent? We have experiments in Carnation as we speak that touch in similar ways with the Timbermen. Life is confusing. Ask the restless. They were never intended to live, or were they? They do not know their origin, and they are treated differently than the rest of the undead. Ones made and are familiar with their own fates. I believe the Onyx took your family to enslave them as fresh souls for their experiments.
I see.
And it makes sense that they would work with a vampire who can use thralls. Remember your lesson today. Which one works better? A soul that is willing, or one that is not? And what is a thrall but pure, but what is this? What is the point of a thrall except to remove the barrier of the will?
Wrong.
Yes. I freed your brother. In his state, he is himself. If the Onyx took him, he would never have reached the potentia. Potentially ever.
Right, I see.
If the thrall took him, if the vampire took him, he would have never have been himself again, even if he stayed here. And what was certain is you never would have seen him again, ever, with the Onyx or the vampire. And if you would have tried to free him, I would have had to have mourned for you and your family and myself, for I would not have been able to bear allowing you going after you've saved my life.
I see. That's a lot to take in. The Timmerman Is that what you do with the...
No.
Oh.
What I do is memory. It is like your traps. I make it a part of me for but a moment. I make it think it's me and my will for but a moment. There will be more answers down this path, and I have given you what you can when I could, but I could not explain this in the moment. I needed you to trust me. And now I have trusted you with more information too. Not just things that are putting my well-being at place, but also my God's will, which is more profound to me than my own life.
I appreciate that. Do I recognize the name of his god, Leanne Shea?
Give me a knowledge nature or a knowledge dark check.
Okay, knowledge nature. 1 success and 6 advantage. Wait. Yep.
What'd you get?
1 success, 6 advantage.
Okay, I'm going to re-roll because one of the dice that I rolled landed on 2 failure, and then I rolled another die and it hit that die and it rolled it into 2 threat. So because it changes the difference between a success and a failure, I'm just going to re-roll. Leanne Shea is a name that you would associate with your cousins down in the woodlands. But beyond the general feeling of the woodlands, there's not a lot else that you could pull from that. So you're like, most people up here wouldn't have a clue, but you're like, I feel like I've heard that before. Was it in, like, maybe I had a cousin come up and like visit like one of the other tribes. Maybe I didn't, like, but it makes sense. Like, you're like, well, if Archic's from that area,
Okay.
So like, it's not a god that you're like, oh, like this is part of the pantheon or something like that. You're like, it's probably some like local spirit or something like that. But that's what you can get from that.
Okay.
Are your intentions to sequester a boat with Osaya?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a good place to stop for the evening.
I agree.
And we will move forward from there. Thank you everyone for joining us. This has been session 5 of Emery's Journey. Getting on here toward our campaign starting up real soon.